Now, the current state of my brain can be traced back to things I was exposed to when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. G.I. Joes, the lead paint still in our rental houses, Yellow Number 5, being crop dusted by my brothers, and the Double Dragon games. And if I were to stop and think for half a second about my favorite NES game of all time, that would probably be Double Dragon 2, Secret of the Ooze. In between the cycle of my mom replacing our controllers because she was less mad and cutting their cords with scissors when she was just ordinarily mad at us, I had great memories playing it. I even beat it a few times without the Game Genie, if I remember correctly. It's a humble brag, I think. So the game Double Dragon 2 itself is a side-scrolling, mindfulness and thoughtful problem-solving through dialogue simulator. Your fist being your voice, and the mindfulness part being exactly how far through someone's skull should you place your fist. In the game, you assume the roles of Billy and Jimmy Dean, two brothers punching and kicking their way through their problems, those problems more specifically being finding out who kidnapped girlfriend Marion, hitting them till they're dead, and then rescuing Marion. Marion, of course, being the girlfriend Billy and Jimmy share. In order to beat the game, though, you'll need to play in Supreme Master. For an easy memory trick, just remember the mode that sounds like something from Taco Bell at the height of the Baja Blast era. Practice mode only does the first few stages, and Warrior gets you up to the second to last boss. There's no way in hell I'm beating it after not playing it in years, so we'll do Warrior. Also, I forgot you can't beat it in Warrior when I recorded the gameplay videos, so it was a mistake, okay? And it must be noted that the mini-bosses like Bolo, Abor, and big bosses are all harder in Supreme Master. You know, they punch faster and you get less chance to hit them when you first encounter them. Now the moves. Unlike Double Dragon 1, you get all the moves up front, meaning you don't have to acquire points to unlock the moves. It's kind of like leveling up. Oh shit. Was Double Dragon an RPG? Discuss. Can't be any more controversial if you ask, is Zelda an RPG? While certain members of the audience are discussing that, other members may notice this controller. It costs about $25 on Amazon. It's called an 8-bit Do, 8-bit Do, not quite sure. USB rechargeable, plugs right into your NES, and I am no worse at the game than when I use a regular wired controller. Link is below the video. First things first, the basic moves are punch and kicks, the bread and butter of self-offense. The punching and kicking buttons change depending on which way you face. In Double Dragon, your punches go forward and your kicks defend that which doesn't quit. So if facing right, punch is A and kick is B. And if you're facing left, punch is B and kick is A. It becomes natural after you play it for a while, and when you come back and pick it up years later, you'll get it. As the old saying goes, it's like having sex with the bike. Use butt kicks in situations where you need a longer reach, as in kicking the mini-bosses in the Supreme Master mode. When they punch, your leg is generally longer than their arm. It's basic physics, okay? Jumping is easy. It's A and B together. You can jump right or left when combining jump with the D-pad. Jump kick is AB, and then tapping any attack button. That's A or B. The flying spin kick requires precise timing. Jump with AB and immediately hit A or B. It doesn't seem to matter if it's A or B to me, just more about the rhythm of how you do it, and I think it's triggered by the height and the jump when you're pressing it. You can do it while jumping in directions too. It seems I can't get it 100% of the time. You know, not bragging, but sometimes I can do it 8 or 9 times in a row. My method is just to jump and kind of smash A and B repeatedly at a certain height in the jump. Works well against enemies rushing you or kicking assholes off a ledge. Hyper uppercut. It's done right after you jump or fall. Press the punch button at a specific moment as you get up. Punch button depends on which way you're facing. Powerful and effective against bosses and your mom who just walked in front of the TV. Come on guys, it was a joke. You don't punch mom. She's the one who freshens up the Baja Blast. High jump kick. Looks like a knee kick, but I didn't write the instruction manual. You can do it after you've been knocked down. It's kind of like an uppercut, about the same timing, or after you've fallen or just jumped. So let's do it when I jump. Jump and right as you've touched down, press the direction you're facing plus AB. Not super easy to land every time. It's kind of harder to do, and I do it on accident more times than I do it on purpose. But it's powerful and knocks the enemy across the screen. It's probably the most powerful move you have. Now to grab an enemy's collar, which is super easy. Punch and hold in the direction you're punching. After several punches, you'll grab their collar. You accidentally do it a lot of times because you're walking in that direction as you're punching, so you kind of do it anyway. Then you can choose to keep punching, and they eventually fall as you're holding them, or attack and press toward them to kick in the air. or the attack buttons, as you're punching, and then press away from them on the D-pad to throw them over your shoulder. This doesn't work on larger enemies and some bosses. You can't do it on your brother either. The game brother, your real brother, it's encouraged. You can also pick up enemies' weapons and throw or attack with them while holding them depending on which button you press. They disappear when the last of the group or wave of enemies dies. So if you're like fighting a group of 3 Lindas, when you kill the third one, the ball whip disappears. Miss that ball whip. Gameplay. There's 9 missions, some have multiple areas. Mission 1's pretty easy. It's called Into the Turf, described chillingly in the instruction manual as a satellite inner-city headquarters for the Black Shadow Gang. Get in there, clean the place out, and head for the roof. The roof being, of course, the safest place in any stressful or emergency situation. You mainly have to worry about falling off ledges if you get punched or kicked too close to them in this stage. That's kind of your biggest enemy. The first group of enemies is the Williams. His weapons include knives and pipes. But after that, most importantly, if you start to see an enemy backing away from you, that means they're probably about to throw something. So kind of make sure you move up and down so you avoid whatever it is they're throwing. Okay, so after you kill the Williams, there's a cheat built into the game, which is playing it in 2-player where I started it, even though it looks like I'm playing with myself here. When you play 2-player, your punches count even if you hit the other player. And if you beat up your brother, and if he dies by your fist, you get his life. Now this is a real good place to practice your moves, except for the collar grabbing, can't do it on him. Kill him, get all of his lives, and move on. Alright, second bad bro is the Roper. He expresses his feelings with dynamite and boomerangs depending on where you encounter him in the game. Pretty easy to kill. It's always fun when you see him because you don't have to work too hard. Then you get the Lindas and their mohawks. They're, pretty easy to kill too. Personally, I've been reading a few reviews here and there, and I see some online disparagement of the controls, that they're not intuitive, they take long to master. As my grandma used to say, fuck that shit. The fighting in this game is generally not what kills you. It isn't Double Dragon 3, okay? And if it does kill you, you're worse than me at video games, which isn't possible. Dying almost always comes from mistakes by getting too close to edges or falling because you've misjudged a jump. Now, Supreme Master's a little harder and the punches come faster, but you should still be able to kill everyone. Okay, still on the first stage. As we're moving along here, I'd just like to say I think this game music is some of my favorite ever, or my favorite ever. Really pumps the blood, gets you going. You want to punch and kick things, but in a really positive, uplifting sort of way. Which brings us to our first boss, who is Burn Off. What happened to my dick? Well, it burned off. No one's laughing with me? Occasionally my viewers will tell me I should do stand-up, and I'm just dropping hot reminders I shouldn't. Now the most satisfying way to kill this asshole is to lead him to the ledge and punch or kick him off. Mostly I kill him before I get a chance to do that. Occasionally he kills me because I get too close to the edge, punches me, falls backwards. It's all in good fun. It's the yin and the yang. Sometimes I kill him, sometimes he kills me. It restores balance to the game. He disappears once after you knock him down a few times, repeats, then disappears again if you don't punch him off the ledge. If you can punch him off the ledge in 2 punches, he's dead. Next stage, Mission 2, at the heliport. The Black Shadow Gang keeps its chopper here, but once they see what you're doing to their guys, they head for the skies. Sounds like some bullshit I'd say, but that's the book's description. It rhymes like poetry. Now, first things first, the strategy here is to walk up to the edge and jump right the fuck off. But keep this in mind, just once isn't enough. Make sure you also kicked off nearly immediately again by one of the game's weakest enemies. It's also important to handicap yourself for later in the game, for the trap rooms where you really need your lives, you pathetic turd. Because you want to die really quickly on the conveyor belts and then maybe have a satisfying cry afterwards, you miserable piece of shit. Alright, winner, let's move on. Down the ladder, Jump across, kill those two dudes like no one just saw what happened a minute ago. They didn't notice the tears, I'm sure. Up the ladder. Okay. Now the strategy here is to avoid the copter's bullets. It's very simple. See, that wasn't hard. Okay, now you wait for the dudes. They get out of the copter, dudes climb down the ladder, you spin kick the dudes off the ladder, and the dudes can't touch you. Works for the dudettes too. Okay, you know what, let's say that was too easy. You want to get a few punches in on the guys they call right arm. Yeah, that's his name. What could go wrong? It's not like you can't take them, you've beat the game before. Right? Okay. Fuck. You're not a total failure in life though, you've got a YouTube channel. Things are really looking up for you. Anyway, get some punching and kicking in on the ropers. Hopefully you don't die. Now the best strategy here is once you get to the last roper all the way to the right, where the chopper is and you can see the chopper, is to do some spin kicks and easily kill the two ninjas here. Ideally you center yourself up, kill the last roper, and then the guys come at you from the side. 3 spin kicks and they're dead if you time them just right. And you look like a real pro if you do that. Alright, no need to prolong this section. You kill them. Now I can't say this is the worst I've ever done on this stage, but it seems like classic me. On to mission 3. Battle in the chopper. Steady boys, this chopper rocks and rolls. Okay, let's skip the rest of the description. It's dumb. These all come from the instruction manual, by the way. Now the big news here is you have a chance to fall out of an open door. Is that a spoiler? The idea in Double Dragon is to save those 7 lives for the hard parts later. The trap rooms, the jumping, and the subsequent falling into holes or onto spikes is what eats your lives up. The first 5 stages are usually pretty easy. Alright, anyway, you die again. Just like everyone thought you would. Basically, if you stay in the lower left corner and fight the dudes, you're safe. If you get too close to the door, if you get knocked down, you'll fly out. Super easy stuff. Now, stage 4, the undersea base. The manual describes it as a submerged hideout loaded with giant metal claws. Very scenic. Looks very expensive. Must be a successful man who owns this. A job creator and lots of LLCs made this place happen. First part is easy, an uppercut here, a busted Linda there. You know, we'll kind of get through this part quick. Then you go downstairs into the spike area. You're going to kill some of your enemies here. And once you're done with that, you're going to fight a boar. Real name, by the way. So you kill him. Alright, yeah, some... Alright, so let's move on to the main point of this here. The strategy is to repeatedly get hit by the spike arms. You're but a simple vessel, just let them go right through you. Now normally you wait for your chance, but I just charge right ahead. I don't care. Next part, ideally you stand in the center and dispense with the jumping, roundhouse, spin kick. But what happened here is I just handed my 4-year-old the controller and decided to let her play for a few minutes. So you kill all these people, and then Bolo comes out and just let him kick your ass for a while. Remember your overall strategy. Handicap for the trap room. Sucks here because Bolo throws you right into the ceiling spikes. Not sure if those are OSHA approved. You surely wouldn't find those in an Amazon factory, would ya? It's just a hallway to the break room, for Christ's sakes, okay? That's how they see it. So you finally kick the Bolo, the Bobo, the Lobo, whatever his ass is, and go through the door. But what happens is you forget you're being spit onto a conveyor belt and look away for 10 seconds. And you die. This is super simple though. Just go down to the bottom of the screen, jump across, and walk up. This is made for people not paying attention between levels, like me right there, who's played this game 10,000 times. Now our favorite part, the Enchanted Forest. So I guess that was the helipad area or the port area, then you find your way to the mansion. So you kill a few Lindas. The book says the hideout is disguised as the forest. That doesn't make sense because I think you actually see the mansion in the background there. You know what? I'd like to see a visitor's map. Who has a visitor's map here? Was it at the Welcome Center? Oh, you know what? It's a metaphor. The Welcome Center are the bad guys. So you kill a few Lindas. Pow pow. Whip, ball whip, ball whip. Love the mohawk. I guess in the 80s, the punk rock was scary. I think in the 90s it was Satan, right? Forget all the crazy panics we've had. Now I choose the lower area here. I've done this so many times. At a certain point, you just know how far your jumps land. So pay attention to where I stand. Now, I haven't died in this part in ages. Okay, actually I take that back because I played it a few days later and I died like twice here. I don't know why. You cross, then you get some ropers climbing down the vines. Spin kick works best here. That's why I didn't do it. Climb up, fight the ropers. Out of the door there. Then you get two bolos. I would say killing the last roper right before the doorway, standing there and waiting for them to come out and punch them off as quickly makes the most sense. Although you have the risk of missing a punch and them picking you up and throwing you over their shoulders and off the ledge. I know because it's happened to me many times. Should be an easy part though. Stage as a whole is pretty easy. You fight the chins. These guys are easy. They're kind of slow. You can't grab them by the collar. But you beat these guys, and then the Shadow Gang runs a train at you, not on you, because you can walk beside it. Basically, you avoid the steamers here, jump up to the top, flying spin kick everyone off. I mean, ideally you do that. I do as I say, not as I do. I guess this is how you get to the mansion. You get the train without the car. I don't know. Is this your transportation device? You kind of go in there and then you get to the mansion. It doesn't make any sense geographically. Does the train pull into the mansion? Is there like an area for that there? Sorry, thinking through this out loud. Abore's pretty easy here. Abore even. We have fun. Not sure if I should say that. Are we at, what, minute 15, minute 25? It's hard to gauge by the text I've written. So you kill these guys, and you get to the Mansion of Terror, which basically kills you with conveyor belts, spikes, and is there a hole somewhere? You probably fall into a hole. The fights in Double Dragon 2 are literally the easiest parts. I feel like when I got hit by the fire, I should have fallen back to the platform. You know, I'd like to file a complaint. There's a way to watch the candelabras and determine which one drops a hot load next, I think. You know, but I didn't do it that way. I just jumped. Wait, could those be sconces? I'm not quite sure. I guess while I'm kicking, it's a good time to reiterate, since I'm not doing the easy spin kicks, that I've played this game a lot. And the music, the relative ease of controls, all contributed to my love for it. You know, love is a term I don't use lightly. I save it for only certain things like video games and really good soda. Things that are important. The book calls it Black Shadow Central and the Mansion of Terror both. I mean, is one of those a colloquial term? I feel like I'd call it something less conspicuous and not name it after the Shadow Gang, you know, the gang that no one's supposed to know about. You know, if your goal was to remain the Shadow Gang, of course you would not have that name out there that much. LLCs, as little description as possible in the names. Lots of lessons in the Panama Papers. The platform thing here is easy too, but I screwed up my timing, and then I lost all of my lives. The good news here is that I played the game a second time, and got one screen further before using most of my lives up, or half of them anyway. In fact, we'll show you where I lost them on my other playthrough. First, I died in the forest. The guy threw me over his shoulder like I told you it happens sometimes. And then after that, I lost 2 lives because I decided to go for the lower platform first, like a shithead, instead of jump up to the first one. As it starts to disappear, go to the second one, and then jump all the way over. Don't jump to the third one below. It's like a trick. It tricked me. It's a longer jump to the bottom one, so your timing has to be better when you jump or it'll disappear. Then I lost another life here. The key is to watch and jump to the next platform as soon as the one you're on starts disappearing. Next room is the trap room. There's a few screens, I believe. Then you fight the Shadow Bros. Then the Mullet Bro with his machine gun. I think he has a machine gun and a cape, as all good villains should. They're all kind of hard, not that hard though. Personally, I think I need to watch a real walkthrough and not this sort of bullshit so I can get my timing down and beat the game again. That way I'll finally have an accomplishment, this year, something that I've accomplished in my life. Anyway, if you're used to the sort of disappointment this video offers and kind of like it in a way, subscribe. People like being disappointed. Follow me on Instagram. Leave a comment. Was this video too long or too short? Just kidding, I know. Seriously though, leave a comment in the description, not about specific games to review, but if you like this sort of video, if you didn't like it. Also say hi to the patrons. Shh, don't wake them. They're asleep right now. They deserve it. They get a shitty title card at the end here. You may have noticed my t-shirt that I've been modeling in this video. I made it, and you can buy these below the video so you can be as cool as a guy who thought he'd post a video game review on YouTube. Nah man, he's normally pretty cool at posting that videos. Anyway, thumbs up, click that bell. I think we've done everything. Thanks for watching.